Hey, so we're doing another quote. I actually have like 3 books this time. This is The Golden Ass by APULEIUS. I actually want to read about this person for a minute because this is really fascinating. He was an African novelist, philosopher, and rhetorician, writing under the Roman Empire from 124 to 180 CE. APULEIUS. And it was edited by Peter Singer. Okay, so I'm just gonna random. As soon as I see it, shaking and terrified by the sudden apparition, I swing the entire weight of my body onto my back haunches, arch my neck, and rear high in the air, break the rope holding me, and right away give myself over to precipitate flight. I rapidly slid down the steep mountain slope, stretching forward not only my feet but my whole frame, and made my way into the fields lying below, fleeing with all my force that big bear, and worse than the bear, that boy. There's some other section here. Let's see. I've known a lot of not just lazy asses, but even the wildest horses that were struggling with an oversized. Okay, no, we're not reading that. It's kind of problematic because I'm doing this on the spot and I don't realize what the topics that come up. Like, last video was really triggering, I think, or not triggering, but like had a lot of sensitive subject matter. This was just not right for YouTube. Okay, so I'm not going to read that part, but this is alright, so we'll keep that part. I just want to remind myself what that was about. What is it that he sees? Because it's kind of hard to understand. Okay. Then from a cave right next to me, rearing its tremendous head high, creeps a death-dealing bear. Okay, so yeah, it's the bear that he's dealing with. As soon as I see it, shaking and terrified by the sudden apparition, I swing the entire weight of my body onto my back haunches, arch my neck, and rear high in the air, break the rope holding me, and right away give myself over to precipitate flight. Interesting. Okay. Tali Girls by Siamak, Herawi. It seems your ears are deaf to reason, wretch. Hold your tongue, mother shouts. If you fed on mother's milk and have the audacity to shoot a mother, go ahead. Their wrangling unnerves me. His finger on the trigger terrifies me. I know I must not have an attack. I must resist it at all cost. I grab Gisa's arm. She is trembling like a willow. Sounds really similar. Listen to me, mother says, now in a calmer, more conciliatory tone. We are on our way to visit a sick friend, and seeing strangers up ahead, we were turning back to take a different route. If you are a Muslim, a devout man of faith, you will stand aside and let us go on our way. Okay. I think that's enough. There's something. This figure on the trigger terrifies me. Their wrangling unnerves me. Strange. And this last one, The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. And so we dreamed and loved and planned by fall and winter, and the full flush of the long southern spring, till the hot winds rolled from the fetid gulf, till the roses shivered and the still stern sun quivered its awful light over the hills of Atlanta. 10 days he lay there, a swift peak, and 3 endless days wasting away. Cheerily the mother nursed him the first days and laughed into the little eyes that smiled again tenderly. Then she hovered round him till the smile fled away and fear crouched beside the little bed. I'm not going to even deal with that right now. It's a lot. I don't understand. Overall energy is a star, and we have the star double here with another deck. So a very strong message of transparency and shining our light, like being authentic, showing the truth, maybe bringing the truth to light, or acting in truth, acting in honesty, acting in authenticity. There's a complete drop of ego here with the Hangman. It's like you have to change your perspective on things, and there is a humbling. Like I said last video, it's not really, humbling might not be the right word for it, but that's kind of how it feels as you're going through it. It's a change of perspective is what's actually happening. And it may be circumstantial, where it's kind of a circumstance that's out of your control, where you're placed in a situation where you have to give up on something, sacrifice something, release some kind of expectation, but it's a new beginning that you're possibly not seeing from this perspective, in this waiting period. You're waiting for something to change, and then you just kind of shift into action with the Fool. And I was quite surprised when I saw this card, because it really describes these two pairs of cards together really well. The Hangman with the Fool. To relinquish control, I simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. That's the exact. I don't have to say anything more. And then really interesting how it shifts here with, we have the star again. And it's called initiation, which I think is really similar to the energy of the Fool. It's like you're being initiated into something new, into a new awareness, a new beginning, a new opportunity. And then we have this orange chakra, which is the sacral. And sacral deals with creativity as well as sexuality, which is interesting because that's the excerpt I didn't read. That was the subject matter. So it feels like there's something going on that's activating a desire to be creative, a desire to be more childlike, a desire to release something that has put you maybe, or put us as a collective, in a standstill. And this could be financial related. When I respect my money respects me. And then if it is financial related, there's some kind of decisions that need to be made. It's like you may have been juggling things, or keeping two options at the same time, placing your energy, spreading your energy too thin, possibly. It is kind of this new beginning with growth. It feels like there's something that you're putting your energy into, you're wanting to succeed in, but it might feel like it's such small steps, you don't know if you'll get there, and it just kind of keeps saying, persevere through it, because your wish is here, like your wish fulfillment, what you really want. As you're working through that, just keep reminding yourself of where it is that you're headed, or just keep showing up authentically, keep like stripping away the need that you have in your mind, like the need to fulfill some kind of image of success or some kind of image of accomplishment, because I think the image is ego-based. And the more you hold on to that like idea of winning something, or being praised, or being acknowledged and recognized, well, it's not really why you started doing this in the first place, I'm gonna guess, right? And so you have to just keep going. Let me slow down for a minute. There is this childlike energy, and we have two pages which are young energies. So we have the Page of Coins, which is, like I said, it could be financial matters, but it's really just practical. It's bringing things into the material realm, into the physical. And then we have the Page of Wands, which is where you get the inspiration. It's where you get creativity and inspiration and vision and desire and sexuality, which we're talking about here in that little section I didn't read in the book. So we have Page of Wands, the World card. And the way these showed up, like kind of like that, makes me feel like this desire, this connection with the sacral chakra, let's put it that way, which is both sexuality and creativity, is what's opening up your ability to get to where you're going, like to get to the place, the end goal. Need a bit more information on that. Okay. Yeah, it's creating a different life for you, it's elevating you, it's bringing you into contact with a different reality, like a different way of being, where things feel a little bit easier, where creativity is part of that, and it could be creative solutions. It doesn't have to be creativity, right, for everyone, but it's a different way of approaching things. It's a creative approach. You're also very solution-based with the Magician and the Empress. The Empress doesn't really need to focus on a problem because the Empress is constantly creating solutions. The Magician is very creative, is solution-based, is looking at things from a different perspective, but I don't even think that these two cards deal with needing to do something because there's an issue to be solved. It feels like there's a vision here. That once you get yourself reconnected with the initial vision, the original plan, the original spark, right, that got you excited, that got you interested, that got you to relinquish control and simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. Reconnecting with that Fool, it brings everything back together. I mean, this is connecting for me very strongly. Sometimes I'm not even sure if these are collective readings because I'm like, this sounds like I'm talking about myself. There's a hardship here that ends, and the World card is significant for that. This closing of a chapter because you're back with the initial spark, the initial thing. Again, this could be something of a sexual nature, this could be something of a creative, this could be an inspiration that sets you off on a new path in terms of career, it could be a lot of different things, but it's basically the ability to play, to return to the childlike state of play is what inspires this change, or what keeps you invigorated on your current path. And then it doesn't feel so heavy anymore. Because you have to let loose of control. And that actually makes sense that this would apply to a lot of different things, right? It could be like a relationship that's starting, like some kind of attraction. And if you're trying to control yourself or trying to control the situation, then you're not really being authentic. And that's what we talked about with the star. It's like you're the one who's being initiated. There's an initiation. If you're being initiated, it means you don't have any control. There's a lot of major arcana. Major arcana talk about things that happen outside of our awareness or outside of our immediate control. And the major arcana are these: the Hangman, the Fool, the Magician, and the Empress, and the World. Quite a lot. And the Star as well, when we had it before. Wait, this one. being pushed and pulled by others' expectations, swinging wildly at their whim. Who are you? How are you supposed to behave? Who is allowed to make these decisions? Great strength comes from opening up to self, for within us all there is nothing except the space to be. Growth. Growth. Okay, so part of this is a pressure, maybe some kind of pressure cooker that caused you in the past to do things that were maybe out of alignment, caused us as a collective, maybe to search for partners that weren't authentic within us, maybe to search for job opportunities that weren't authentic, maybe to force ourselves to kind of become these workaholics. It feels like there's a good flow here because there's something that's being sacrificed. And once this thing gets sacrificed, you need to start over with the Fool. You feel like a fish out of water with the Page of Coins and the Page of Wands, but it's all taking you where you want to go with the Nine of Cups and the World. You're able to end cycles, you're able to fulfill your dreams, but you do have to keep going. Don't give up. Feeling so small and scared, not wanting to face the world. Many layers of protection here distancing you from life. Know that you are always held in the love of the divine, perfect as you are. Immersion. Number 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you start a new cycle. You come up with a lot of creative solutions. You have all the tools to create this new thing, but there's part of you that's afraid. Part of you that feels like you're not going to succeed, or you need to protect yourself, or you want the things that keep you safe, and so you go to control. You try to control the situation, try to control the outcome. And with the Empress here, it's about flowing. It's about getting back to that creativity, being in a flow state. And what's going to bring you into that flow state? Well, part of it's relinquishing control. Simply let loose and allow yourself to be more childlike. Being childlike doesn't mean being irresponsible. It means, well, it's kind of like a beginner's mind. It's approaching things from a new perspective. It's being open. It's being flexible. It's not being afraid. Because you don't, as a child, you don't have that many experiences that tell you that you're going to fail. Or to think that you're going to fail. Wait, what was the question? Let me center myself. What was my question? How to get into the flow state. Yeah, I mean, I think with the King of Wands, there isn't that much fear because you're going at it, you're going at these projects, you're going at these relationships, you're going at these new experiences with a lot of confidence. Knowing yourself, knowing your product, knowing your attractiveness, if that's what it is. And it's not about comparing yourself to others, because that's when you start, running these scripts in your head again of being recognized and of getting some accolades and being successful and what are people going to think and this is amazing. That's like a movie that you're living in, and you need to switch off that movie and get back to your body and get back to grounded reality. But from that space of grounded reality, remind yourself, I've been in challenges before. I've dealt with difficult situations. I've done well in certain experiences I've had. I've had compliments given to me about this, which the compliments aren't a way for you, again, to focus on what other people think and what they're going to say, but it's just a way for you to remind yourself that you've gotten validation before, and you know that you're good at whatever this is. However this applies to you, it could be anything. So I guess if I'm trying to cut it down to what am I actually giving you here? What's the real message behind this reading? There are endings and beginnings. You have the ability to move through them. You have the ability to be very successful. You have the ability to attain the things that you want. You will come up with reasons why you shouldn't. Reasons you should protect yourself. Reasons you should continue to feel small. Others you should listen to. Others you should follow. People who tell you what to do and how to live your life and how to think. And it's maybe easier to give up your own mind and do what other people tell you to do. There are times where you feel that way. There are times where you feel helpless. You might want to control situations. You might want to be kind of the mastermind behind everything in your life. And then you don't let yourself be seen and you don't let yourself be vulnerable. And when you're not seen and you're not vulnerable, you might feel safe, but you won't feel inspired. You won't feel turned on. You won't feel excited. You won't feel alive. So you break down those barriers and become a little more childlike, a little bit more free, a little bit more loose. And when you're more loose, yeah, you can get heartbroken, or you can have disappointment, or you can have failure. You can be the fool, but, instead of succeeding, you kind of crash. There's a reason why we're afraid. There's a reason why we hold back with new opportunities. There's a reason why sometimes we can be really attracted to someone, but then, just kind of have that moment where we're like a turtle going back into its shell and just afraid. Oh, that's what it was. So I kept getting this in the books. I know this is a really strange thing to get from all of these books, but it's the one thing that stood out to me was kind of like a trembling that kept coming up in all three of the excerpts that I took out. I don't know if I'll find them now, and I don't want to just sit here for hours looking, but it's on the page. I just don't know where. Here, trembled, and the tiny, and so we dreamed and loved and planned by fall and winter, and the full flush of the long southern spring, till the hot winds rolled from the fetid gulf, till the roses shivered, but that's not the one, and the still stern sun quivered, another one, its awful light over the hills of Atlanta. And then one night the little feet pattered wearily to the wee white bed, and the tiny hands trembled. Okay, so there's all this trembling, quivering, shivering, and a warm, flushed face tossed on the pillow, and we knew baby was sick. Okay, I didn't read that much last time. 10 days he lay there, a swift week, and 3 endless days, wasting away. Cheerily the mother nursed him. I did read this. Cheerily the mother nursed him the first days and laughed into the little eyes that smiled again. Tenderly then she hovered round him till the smile fled away and fear crouched beside the little bed. Okay, fear. Fear crouched. Get that fear. Put it in its place. We need fear. It can be helpful. It can attune us to what it is that we're how it is we're holding ourselves back. But it can also be in emergency situations, right? You need fear. It's an inbuilt primal response that humans have. This one, if I will remember, it seems your ears are deaf to reason, wretch. Hold your tongue, mother shouts. If you fed on mother's milk and have the audacity to shoot a mother, go ahead. There's also a repetitive theme here of babies and mothers, right? Feeding on the mother's milk, and here there's something about the baby being sick. We knew baby was sick. 10 days he lay there, a swift week and 3 endless days, wasting away. Cheerily the mother nursed him. And here, if you fed on mother's milk. Their wrangling unnerves me. His finger on the trigger terrifies me. She is trembling like a willow. There. So trembling, shivering, quivering. Is there more of this here? And then I'll have to try to remember why I even brought this up. I go on tangents. Okay. Nope. That's the sexual content we're not reading. I think it was up here. As soon as I see it, shaking and terrified by the sudden apparition, I swing the entire weight of my body onto my back haunches, arch my neck and rear high in the air, break the rope holding me, and right away give myself over to precipitate flight. So, two things. The quivering, the shivering. What was this? The shaking. The trembling, all those words. Fear crouching by the bed, right? Putting fear in its place, not getting overwhelmed by the fear of something new, of trying something new, of going for the thing that you want. And then the baby, which I can identify in this reading, if need be. You know, we have here feeling small and scared, not wanting to face the world. That fear brings you back into this like infant state, right? It's like laying here in fetal position, almost like in a womb. And the pages, a page of coins, a page of wands being associated with children. The sacral chakra, as strange as it may seem, I mean, it's creativity, and creativity for me is something very childlike. And then we have to relinquish control. I simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. So there is this theme of being a child. And both the insecurity of being a child, because you're really reliant on these other people to take care of you, right? So there's a feeling of insecurity there. But also the newness, the freshness, the creative approach, the ability to let loose, to be yourself, to be free, to be carefree, to try new things without holding yourself back because of fear of failure. I mean, I'm just repeating myself here, but there's also like this dolphin energy, which I really like. And I don't know if I should show this because of YouTube's rules, but I'll just show the dolphin part. See, there's a dolphin down there. So, and the Nine of Cups, getting me into this energy of play. And that's also something that children do, right? More than adults, for some reason. So you're playing with this thing. Whether it's a relationship and you just need to be more playful. It's at the starting stages, or it's someone you're attracted to, and instead of getting so like tense and so worried and so anxious and so afraid of rejection or afraid of whatever may be, whatever this might lead to something serious and maybe you don't want that, just play. Or you have a new project you're working on, just play. You're presenting things to people, it feels really serious. Throw some jokes in there. Make it playful. Or just have a little pep in your step. Like, change your attitude towards things where it starts to feel fun. Yeah, the word fun. Getting engaged with life in a way that feels fun. And then even the things that are quite serious. Like jobs and relationships and you're raising children, you can make them exciting and fun and fresh again by introducing play. And again, I don't know how this applies to anyone, if it does at all. I'm sure it will, because it feels like pretty general. Anyone could probably benefit from a little bit of joy in their lives. Let's see if there's any last thing. Yeah, you're headed there. There's creativity here at the bottom with the Knight of Cups. There's the Chariot, which is signifying that you're headed towards your North Node. Maybe look up what your North and South Node are and figure out how you can get in contact with that. Things are changing, things are evolving, things are moving full speed ahead. Life will move with or without us. So we need to get in the rhythm, stop being so serious, try to have a little bit more fun. Thanks for watching.